Every predator has a moment when nature flips the hierarchy, and the hunter feels death watching back.
The Georgia swamp breathes like a humid beast, rotting vegetation, ancient mud, and the metallic tang of fear.
5 bounty men move like they own the night. Professional trackers paid to drag freedom back into chains. Leading them is Jeremiah Colt, 15 years in the business, a limp in his step, and a soul filled with bitterness. The prize is $500, enough to make greed shine brighter than the lantern flame.
The trail is fresh, too easy to read, like the swamp is inviting them forward. Tommy Briggs is only 22, poor, desperate, and determined to prove he belongs among killers.
He checks his revolver again and again, praying for a chance to be brave, without knowing what bravery will cost.
Marcus Webb carries rope like a profession, but his nerves are fraying under the swamp's silence.
Pike Morrison is raw muscle and sadism, so large he mistakes cruelty for invincibility.
Samuel Cross is the true danger, a tracker who moves like a water moccasin and thinks like one too. Cross notices the rhythm, measured steps, no panic, no stumble, like the trail was written on purpose. The fog turns the world into a tunnel, and the owl's cry sounds like a funeral hymn across the water. A fire burns low ahead, exactly the kind of mistake Colt has been waiting for.
Colt splits them wide. Surround the camp. Cut off the water. Take the prize alive if it breathes.
Cross feels it. This is too perfect, too exposed, too quiet, like bait. The fire reveals the truth. Not one fugitive, but a family clinging to warmth and hope.
Martha sits with her back to the flame, turning her body into a shield, because she has already lost too much. Samuel was built for peace, but tonight he listens for death in every snap of a twig. High above the fire, Isaiah Freeman holds the night in his scope, ready to trade mercy for protection. Rebecca holds a forbidden Bible like armor, dreaming of a classroom in a world that calls her property.
At 12, David already knows what capture means. Some lessons arrive like bruises before childhood ends.
Little Thomas still believes in promises, because innocence trusts before it understands.
Hidden in the branches, Isaiah becomes part of the swamp. Stillness shaped into protection. His rifle is a tool of rare precision, but the true weapon is the discipline behind the trigger.
Union soldiers call him Ghost, a man who escaped slavery and learned to vanish in plain sight.
The hunters spread out, surrounding the glow with practiced cruelty, believing they control the board.
Colt doesn't see a family. He sees a ledger, a bounty, and a future paid in suffering.
For one sick moment, Tommy sees the children, and the law he clings to feels like a lie in his hands.
Webb drinks to silence conscience, because fear is easier to drown than guilt.
Pike smiles in the dark, hungry for violence the way a storm is hungry for trees.
Cross listens to the swamp's silence and hears what the others can't. The sound of a hunter waiting.
Isaiah has them placed in his mind. Center, east, west, rear, every threat accounted for.
Colt lifts his hand to begin the violence, unaware the swamp is about to answer first.
The first shot splits the night, and Jeremiah Colt's certainty collapses in the mud. The lantern hits the water like a dying star, light snuffed out by the swamp's verdict.
In one heartbeat, predators become prey, panic replacing the confidence they wore like armor.
The second shot finds Tommy before he can become the man he imagined, and his dreams sink into the muck.
Webb shoots at shadows, and the bright flashes betray him like a confession.
The third shot is a punctuation mark, turning Webb's screaming chaos into silence.
The family drops to the mud, as if the earth itself is the only shelter left in the world.
Martha becomes a shield, because a mother learns to fight with her body when she has nothing else. Samuel turns his own spine into a barricade, because fear doesn't erase duty, it sharpens it.
Pike has never known fear, so he mistakes it for rage and charges the darkness like a wounded bear.
He runs toward the last flash, thinking strength can bully the invisible. Isaiah doesn't chase the giant. He calculates him, placing the shot where the charge will be. The fourth shot stops the charge in single instant. Mass and brutality turned weightless in the mud. In his final clarity, Pike doesn't see property. He sees people and recognizes the monster in their story.
Now only Cross remains, quiet, trained, and suddenly aware he is alone in a killing field.
Cross slows his breathing, tracing the geometry of the shots, because only professionals hunt like this. Cross feels the inversion, every instinct screaming that he is the one being stalked now. He follows the echoes back in his mind, upward, into the treetops, where death might be looking down like judgment. Isaiah doesn't rush the last man. Patience is a weapon, and he wields it like steel.
Cross has the tree as armor, and Isaiah has no clean angle, so the battle becomes time itself. Staying still is death against a tracker, so Isaiah prepares to change the board.
He climbs down like a shadow, learning gravity, leaving no sound for fear to grab. Cross catches a whisper of sound and smiles, believing the ghost has finally made a mistake.
But the sound is a lure, thrown like bait into the dark by a man who is 3 steps ahead.
Isaiah doesn't move left. He sinks into the swamp itself, becoming the darkness Cross cannot see. Uncertainty eats Cross alive, so he chooses action, and action will be his undoing. Cross swings toward the sound, ready to kill, only to find nothing but mist and his own mistake. The last hunter turns and finds the ghost standing within 10 feet, risen from the swamp like judgment.
The last shot doesn't sound like thunder. It sounds like a gavel sealing the sentence.
And just like that, the swamp resumes its song. Nature indifferent, but the danger ended.
Isaiah doesn't celebrate, he confirms, he listens, he makes sure the nightmare cannot stand back up.
The refugees still can't tell if the footsteps are rescue or another kind of chain. It's over. They won't ever hurt you again. Fear holds them for one more heartbeat, then slowly releases its grip. Samuel can barely comprehend it. 5 hunters gone in seconds, like the swamp itself chose a side. Isaiah doesn't boast. He simply confirms what had to be done. The child studies him like a storybook come alive, asking with his eyes if a ghost can be good.
Sometimes you have to be a ghost to protect the living.
Then comes another sound. Disciplined voices, boots in rhythm, closing through the fog. Not more hunters, Union patrolmen, moving with purpose, drawn by the gunfire.
A sergeant calls for identification, trained voice cutting through the swamp like a blade.
Isaiah answers with calm authority. Refugees and escort, area secure.
Blue uniforms fill the fog like dawn. Proof the family is no longer alone.
Mills recognizes the weapon first, because legends often arrive before names do. The word travels through the patrol like electricity. Ghost.
Isaiah doesn't want a spotlight, only a path forward for the people behind him.
The patrol moves fast, helping them collect the few things freedom will allow them to keep. David looks up at him the way a child looks up at a story, and wonders if stories can be real.
Fame doesn't matter. Being free matters. That's the only story worth telling.
Martha's thanks is wordless, but it carries the weight of generations that never got to say it.
They leave the clearing behind, stepping away from death and into a narrow corridor of possibility.
As dawn arrives, the swamp releases them, reluctantly, like it has witnessed something it will never forget. Within months, the story spreads. Ghost in the swamps, a sniper who strikes and vanishes.
On the other side, fear takes root. Every shadow becomes a scope. Every silence becomes a warning. Rebecca records the night so it can't be erased. Fear, mud, and the man whose rifle sounded like justice. Every shot Isaiah takes buys time. Time for a child to learn, a mother to breathe, a family to live unowned.
The war doesn't end with one night of justice. Its hunger keeps marching forward.
From high places, bell towers, and ridgelines, Isaiah watches roads where men still try to own other men.
He learns to disappear between heartbeats, present only as a consequence.
In war, the wind is a judge. Isaiah listens, adjusts, and lets the verdict travel.
There is no romance in what he does, only the work of keeping worse men from reaching the innocent.
Men trade his name like a charm, Ghost, because believing in him makes fear smaller.
On the other side, every rustle becomes a rifle. Every tree becomes a hiding place for judgment.
Legends feel warm to everyone else, cold to the man who has to carry them.
And on quiet nights, his mind returns to the swamp, where one family reminded him why the trigger mattered.
Freedom starts as a walk, small steps away from terror, toward a life that can finally grow.
In camp, survival turns into routine. Food, blankets, and the first fragile taste of tomorrow.
For the first time, Samuel's hands build for his own family, not for someone else's profit.
Martha finally sleeps without counting footsteps in the dark.
David trades fear for letters, because knowledge is a door no chain can hold shut forever. And Thomas learns a new sound, laughter, without checking the trees first. Rebecca writes and studies, turning survival into purpose, so the story can't be stolen again.
He leaves them with life and returns to the place where life must be defended.
Each mission is a line on a map, but every line is really a human future trying to survive.
Amid chaos, his hands remain quiet, because calm is the only way to aim at evil without becoming it.
Recoil bruises his shoulder. Sleepless nights bruise his soul, but he keeps standing.
To excuse their fear, men invent monsters, because admitting justice is coming feels worse.
Distance becomes his ally. Space turned into safety for those behind him.
Rebecca becomes what she dreamed, a teacher, unlocking minds once told to stay locked.
She teaches them to write the one word that changes everything. Free!
David grows into strength that protects, not strength that terrorizes.
Even years later, Thomas remembers the fog and the man who stepped out of it with mercy. The name she chose becomes real, proof that a person can claim herself back. While they rebuild, Isaiah remains in the rain, holding a line so others can live behind it.
Justice isn't an idea in the swamp. It's a force that arrives with precision.
The oldest rule is simple. The most dangerous creature is the one protecting its young. The bounty men believed power lived in whips and chains, until the swamp proved otherwise. The trap wasn't teeth. It was patience, disciplined, and unmoving. The fire was risky, but the children were freezing. Sometimes survival demands a light, even in the dark. They called him Ghost, but he was a man, carrying pain, purpose, and an unshakable line he would not let evil cross. Freedom sounds like learning, working, laughing, ordinary sounds that used to be impossible.
The real legacy isn't the shot, it's the future that gets to happen afterward.
He carries what he had to do, because protection always has a price paid by someone.
Chains only work when everyone agrees they do. One night in the swamp proved they can be answered. The swamp swallows footprints, bodies, and lies, but it never forgets what it witnessed.
Somewhere, every predator meets that moment when the world flips and death is the one watching.
History's full of unsung heroes, people who stood in the dark so others could step into light.
Isaiah becomes a gatekeeper, quiet, watchful, unavoidable.
The watcher in the dark isn't always a threat. Sometimes it's the reason you survive. Power isn't the whip, it's the refusal to bow and the courage to protect.
The night wasn't just about bullets. It was about courage, refusing to die.
When justice arrives, it can be quiet, or it can crack the sky and change everything.
This story survives because it reminds us, evil depends on silence, and silence can be broken.
The most dangerous person in the room is often the one with nothing left to lose and everything to fight for.
Keep your powder dry and your eyes on the horizon, because danger rarely announces itself.
The swamp closes over the past, but the lesson stays above the waterline.
If stories of survival and justice belong in your world, stay with us. There are more forgotten chapters to uncover. Share this with someone who needs a reminder that even in darkness, someone may be watching from the shadows.
Tell us which unsung heroes you believe history forgot, so we can bring their stories back to the light.
Next time, we go deeper into another place where the past still breathes.
In the end, justice is not only spoken, it is done, steady-handed and unbowed. The swamp still waits, fog clinging to water, thin as the line between cruelty and consequence.
The ghost fades back into legend, but the freedom he defended stays alive in real hands.
The story lives where it matters most, in the lives that get to continue.
And remember, when people believe they can hunt the helpless, the world has a way of hunting back. Until next time, keep your eyes on the horizon and never forget, Freedom is worth protecting.